WWJE, What Would Jesus Eat? This is the title of Don Colbert's, MD's book, in which he encourages his readers to ask the question, why do I eat this? And would Jesus eat this? I would encourage you to ask yourself the same thing. Would Jesus eat the foods Americans eat today? Keep this in mind as I tell you one of the greatest horror stories America has ever seen. Now, I know personally how the love of food can be the root of an unhealthy lifestyle. And I have researched the issue America has with food. And the specialists would agree when I tell you that this unhealthy lifestyle causes a difficulty in our ability to accomplish what God wants us to do. Because we can make food an idol, but God's people can stand up against this injustice we are committing against ourselves. And we can do this if we remember that God desires His people to love Him more than anything else, even Lisa Wells's brownies. Now, the issue with brownies like Lisa's is not the delicious treat itself, but that Americans have made a habit of eating them in excess. Our society has not always eaten unhealthy foods in excess like this. For example, Colbert wrote in his book, What Would Jesus Eat?, that in 1901, America was the healthiest country in a poll of 100. Then, in 1981, we dropped to 95th place. In less than 100 years, we dropped so many places. Another study was done by Harvard Men's Health Watch in March of 2011. And he found that the adult Americans who were obese increased by 50%. And like I said, in less than 40 years. So 2 of every 3 Americans is overweight or obese. And early onset health decline is a serious medical problem. But the bigger problem is a strain that it puts on our ability to serve God at our highest potential. This is why Jesus cared about fighting health issues, but He cared more about fighting the idol of pleasure. Proof of this idol of pleasure that is running rampant in our society is that in our food. The Hartwigs, in their book, It Starts With Food, writes that in the last 50 years, our foods have changed from natural foods that God made to processed, refined products that look nothing like the animals or the plants that they came from. And Colbert agrees when he wrote that our foods are high in sugar, hydrogenated fats, salt, chemicals, and have been mass-produced, not because they're good for our body, but because they taste good, look good, they're cheap, they're quick, and they appeal to our idol of pleasure. Mm-hmm. And we as a culture are giving into this idol, and we're not on the path of turning from it anytime soon. In the article Obesity in America, it states that the first step to fighting the idol of pleasure is to eat less high-calorie food, eat more foods high in nutrients, and move more. Emphasis, I believe, needs to be on the foods high in nutrients, like food from the ground in their natural state. Dr. Dean Olenson would agree. He led a research study where he put his patients with various heart diseases on an all-vegetarian diet. And within a year, along with exercise, they had either arrested or reversed their disease without any prescription drugs or surgery. This study was in a documentary called Food Matters. And the majority of Americans, even Christians, have been chained to their idol of pleasure for years now. And it shows in the extreme decline in health. The Apostle Paul talks about this idolatry in Philippians 3:18-19. He says, "For many, of whom I have often told you, and now tell you with tears, walk as enemies of the cross of Christ. Their end is destruction. Their God is their belly. They glory in their shame, and their mind is set on earthly things." To live this healthy lifestyle, we need to leave our idol of pleasure aside and tune our minds to heavenly things. To sum up, the food we eat matters, and Hartwig also reminds us that the food we eat either makes us healthier or unhealthier. But we do not have to follow in the footsteps of our culture and eat foods that appeal to our idol of pleasure. So, my fellow Americans and followers followers of Christ based on these facts I've shown you. Would Jesus eat the food Americans eat today? No, my friends. The answer is no. But I bring you good news. From Jesus' mouth himself, he said, I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation, but take heart, I have overcome the world. And we can overcome the idol of pleasure. Thank you.
Anybody want a carrot?
Can you get some more popcorn?